Hi everyone, welcome to Mommy Wise's Live. My name is Aditi Nahata, and today's topic is going to be kids and nutrition. So we're very happy to have on board Malvika Sehgal, who is a health and nutrition expert and is on a mission to feed families healthier and better food. So she helps families make lifestyle changes and better food choices to improve their overall health, which is really exciting. And she also does one-on-one consultations. She's Delhi based, and she helps with a multitude of factors such as thyroid, PCOS, and helps with diet and weight loss. So she's a very senior expert in this field, and we're very excited to have her on board. So our topic for today is mainly nutrition around the pandemic, and how to deal with kids in this situation that we're in. So if you have any questions, please do send them in the comments below. A gentle reminder to give Mommy Wise a follow for more such informational talks and to stay tuned with all the information we're providing for you. Let me just add her on our live and we can get started. Just adding her on. Do pop in, send us all your questions. Hold on. Got it. Oh, she's just here. Yes, she should be joining us any minute. Please do send in any questions you have so we can answer all your questions. Hi, Malvika.
Hi, Aditi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for making the time to be for being with us here today.
It's my pleasure.
Great. So, Malvika, before we get started with all the questions about nutrition and the whole topic, I'd like to just ask a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are, because I think that's always very interesting to know how people are so passionate about what they do. So, please tell us.
So honestly, I was all these years actually with my till a few years back, I was working in my family business, but I actually fixed my own health condition in 2014 with the help of food, when
Okay.
no doctor could tell me what my issue was.
Wow.
So realized that food is medicine, and that's when I started my own journey. Like I started like making my own changes in life, like my own lifestyle changes and things like that. But then after some time I realized that even a professional degree is important. Like
Right.
just I learned a lot in my own journey. For like the first 2 years I just did things on my own. I read a lot. I am also really I also follow Ayurveda quite a bit.
Wow. Okay.
I really believe in their food combinations and what they say that certain food should be had, should not be had together, certain food should not be had at night. So just like these small things, and I saw a lot of difference in my health. And then that's how I started studying nutrition, and then also my own journey when I became a mother 3 years back.
Right.
Whole weaning, what I did, how like things, how just like the whole journey, what I learned as
I mean, it's really quite a journey. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm trying to teach, like this is my, like it's my mission that I want every parent to feed their family better. Because India being, like India has the best of grains, fruits, vegetables, but we are still the diabetic capital of the world.
Right.
So
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's just
Wow.
that, like how we just take out a packet of chips and packet of cookies without realizing the harm it's actually harming us in the
Doing
long.
Right, right. Absolutely. I think that's a fabulous mission to have, and hats off to you and wishing you all the best in this this journey, because I think you're doing a fabulous job. You share a lot of recipes and ideas in on your Instagram page, which is so helpful to a lot of moms and a lot of people out there. So really, that's fabulous. Great. So I'd really like to start with my question. What do you think about meal planning, and can you tell me how important it is?
I think it's important not just for the child, but as a family, especially the women of the houses. These days, also a lot of women are working, so it's good
Right.
that like we take out some time to plan for the week, so that there's no stress, and also you can plan your groceries. You can plan like a variety in the meals. Otherwise, what happens with the family? They'll be like, oh, again this. This is
Right, right.
like all of us I think go through, like our spouse or our child would be like, again this. So it's just
Yeah.
that planning, I think you can have a variety, and also at the same time, I think you can give a lot of nutrients. Like in the sense, like if today you can plan for X one type of fruit, tomorrow you can plan for another type of fruit, right? So you can plan that, okay, for the next 4 days, I have this many groceries, I have this many fruits, I have this many vegetables, or some people like to do it for the week. But I think
Right.
planning definitely helps.
I agree. I agree. Especially with, like you said, with, buying groceries, because I think that's just one thing that all, people who are in charge of, making sure that that's all there in the house. I think it's something we all struggle with. So,
Exactly. I
um,
mean, not cooking. Like, if we have someone to help us with the cooking, but at the end of the day, we have to see what is there, what's not, make the
that,
provision. So I
exactly, exactly.
weekly spend like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, make a little list, be like, okay, these are the fruits my family loves, but I don't have it. So it's better, like, I should have a little bit of extra. So because then things like can be used at a snack time also.
Absolutely, yes. So that was going to be my next question to you. So how do you make sure when you're planning a meal, you said that we should be including a variety. So what should we make sure that each meal has, or, how do we construct per se a balanced meal for our family? At the same time, trying to make sure that there's something for everybody. Like we don't want to make a meal and then two family members say, "Oh, I don't like this at all." So how do we deal with that? And how do we construct this meal?
I think first of all, it should be like whichever region you come from, your local food, right? Like everyone is eating their local food. So that should be there. So like a typical Indian breakfast could be a dosa, poha, and things like that, right? So
Okay.
just maybe you can fix that one day we'll do this, one day, I mean, depending on what the family likes, some families more rice eater or some are, but at the same time, I also feel a lot of our like our Indian food has a lot of carbohydrates and
Right.
less. So you
Okay.
should just have like a balance, especially okay for kids. It's okay, they can eat all the carbohydrates, but for us who are sitting all day, like we are sedentary, I feel,
Right.
now recently I've started getting questions which I never talk about weight loss, fat loss on my page,
Right.
and
Right.
the post on what I eat. Then since then my inbox is flooded with how please give me a weight loss diet. And
Okay.
realize that as Indians we are eating a lot of, like, we'll eat poha for breakfast, then rice for lunch, then dinner we'll have rotis, but maybe we're not eating that many vegetables and dal with it, for
Right.
example. We're
Right.
not, so if you're having this much rice, we should also be eating that much vegetables and dal or whatever,
Yeah.
uh, eggs, whatever you consume. So I feel
Right.
like we keep adding rice, but maybe we will not add that much, we will not take a
Yeah.
second other
Right.
food.
Yeah. I think that's very common. I think, people generally take like a whole bowl of rice and then there's like this much dal and then this much veggies. I think that's so typical of our culture. So it's
Yeah.
really good that you pointed it out because,
Like
uh,
make it simple. Like you just have like a grain. It could be a whole grain. It should not be maida. Like it
right.
should be whole grain. Then we are blessed with so many grains in our country, and there should be your seasonal vegetables with it. It could have a dal, sambar. But again, it depends on which. You're from the north, your typical lunch would be rajma, curry, and things like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So
Right.
just including, like I said, like I'm a big believer of eating local and seasonal.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's healthier, that's better for the environment, that's better for our people, and that's better for us. So I think it works always. So my next question is, like you said, okay, include everything. But now, how do I try to make a meal plan where I know that everyone has got something that they will eat? Do I need to cater to everyone's needs separately, or do I need to say that, you have to eat what's on the table, or eat it or leave it? What should be my attitude in terms of meal planning and as well as on the table? Because, children, I feel are the more you indulge, the more they you know
They they
they
come
try harder to push their boundaries. We need to be firm. So what is your opinion on that? How do we handle that?
Here, I would say my advice to young, like new moms, would be that make a, from the beginning, introduce them to a introduce, and slowly by the age of 1, they can be on family food. I think the only change you'll do for your child would be like they don't maybe like spicy food and maybe oily. So
Right.
keep the same meal what the adult eats. You can add the spices later.
Right.
Take out some for the kid if the kid is not comfortable with and if there's no health condition, in the family, if there's no one who's supposed diabetic or someone who has PCOS, there could be a change, right? There could be a change in a diabetic person will not eat that many
Yeah.
carbohydrates.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
one is hale and hearty, then it could be the same meal. But yeah, for kids, I think if suppose kids usually like sweets. So maybe you could plan like a kheer or a homemade laddu or a halwa and things like that,
Right.
like 2 3 times a week, so that they also have something to look for.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And when we're planning this meal, so you said we should be adding protein. We should be, taking. What about fruits and veggies? Like how many? I think a typical question I would ask, and any mom would ask, is how many fruits a day should my child be eating, and how many veggie portions or veggies should I make sure my child eats? So, what is your answer to that?
My answer to that is that fruits and vegetables, they both give us vitamins and minerals.
Right.
And mostly kids are not really fond of vegetables, and that's okay. And and a lot of kids love fruits. So if
Right.
your child is not eating enough vegetables, you can increase the quantity of fruits because they give us the same benefits. So
Right. Right.
one fruit is a must, but two would be perfect. Like if you can do 2 servings of fruit in a day, it's perfect. And it also, as a mother, I think you don't have to spend so much time thinking about the snack time, because one fruit can be served as a snack.
Right, right. So, but in terms of number, is there a number you suggest or you don't suggest a number? No,
I'm saying one fruit for sure, but
yeah.
if you can, two would be perfect, like 2 servings of fruits in a day. So if they've eaten like mango, like right now again season, we have such amazing right now. So if they
Okay.
eat mango in the first half of the day, then in the second half of the day you can plan a peach or watermelon or whatever is the other fruit
Okay.
available.
So at least 2 portions of fruit a day and vegetables as well, two or a little.
Vegetables, then I know a lot of moms are sneaking it in different forms.
Right.
So if the child is not eating, I feel there's nothing wrong with putting it in your whatever roti and chilas and things
Of
like
course.
that.
Yeah.
Well, is of course more the merrier, but if you that, like I said, then increase the intake of fruit if the child is not.
Child is not eating veggies. Okay, yeah, that I think that's fair. And what about this concept of baby-led weaning? I think it's really picking up. I mean, it's already a very big thing, abroad, and I think in India people are really wanting to do it. But I think what happens is, I mean, I know this has happened to a couple of friends of mine that they want to do it, but they just don't know where to start because there's just no information out there, and especially information that is relevant to us in our culture, in our food. So how do we deal with that? And what is your take on, does it mean that if I choose to go the baby led weaning method, does it mean that in the long run my child is going to be less picky? What does it mean for the long run in terms of food habits, and also how to start? Like I think there's just this lack of information, and it really puts a lot of moms in a very difficult position.
So I honestly I didn't do it completely, because this
Right.
is my thinking. I actually made a reel this week because I was like, I want to talk about my journey. So what is it? Offer a variety of food. Don't, okay, if you need to mash it a little bit in the beginning, this is my thinking. But again, everyone has their own way. It's okay.
Right.
But introducing a variety. I have DMs where people have asked me questions like, can I give mango to my 14-month-old? Can I give rajma to a 1.5-year-old? And I'm like, why have you waited for all this time? This is foods
Absolutely.
like you can give you can give a mango at 7 months,
Right. Right. Right.
around 9 months or something, depending on like you see the child's diet, how they're digesting their food. But according to me, it's like, don't wait. And I don't think we need to wait for those utensils to come out. Oh, I need those fancy baby thing. What I
Right.
used to, like, if I'm eating cucumber, I would just give it to her. I
Right.
won't get one cute little bowl. If I'm eating apple, like this is what I've shown in the reel, that I'm eating apple in my bowl, I would just put it in front of her and I'm like, okay, let her just play with it, eat one piece. So
Right.
my whole thing is that don't worry about the food being pureed or mashed or finger food. Do a variety, and it's also child to child. Some kids might just take to it in the beginning, right? To eat, pick it up and eat on their own. But if they're not, it's okay to give them some assistance. But at the same time, to introduce a variety. I just feel that's where we are going wrong. And that's how, because by the time they're 1.5, 2, their taste buds are developed. Like they have
Right.
experienced, and that's how they become like, oh, I don't want to eat this, because the earlier you start, the easier it is.
Yes, I think there's this window when they're 6 to 12 months, or maybe a little less than 12, maybe 10, where they will try anything. They will put anything in their mouth, and if
Yeah.
you give to them, then they've already developed a taste for it. And if you waited, I think you've sort of, put yourself in a difficult position where now they're going to like really fuss. And yeah, I think you're right about that. So my next question is, everyone's at home now. Kids are at home primarily. and physical activity is low. Not everyone has the option to go out. Some people, can't leave their buildings to even go down to play. So physical activity is at I think at its lowest when it comes to kids. And of course, that is affecting their meals and how much they want to eat. So how do we adjust to this in the meals that we serve them? Like, how do we cater to this?
Yeah, so you're right. So I have been working a lot with kids in the age group of 6 and 8
Right.
who are of obesity.
Oh, wow.
Since last lockdown. And obviously, and sometimes I also feel like as parents we are like, oh, our child is home, poor child, let's pamper them, and we are letting them eat all that cake and cookies and all. So I feel that's where you need to look. If the child wants to eat this much rice and this much dal and whatever is like the home cooked food, there should be no restriction. But yeah, there should be a limit on the number of packaged food, because that's where the issue is. There is too much hidden sugar in all these packaged foods, and so that would be my first advice. And also I would just say to encourage, like, we can do a lot of things at home as a family. If the kids are older, you can play like Zumba on YouTube, and you can do that together. This way, an adult also gets a workout, and a child also, older kids who are watching screen anyway. So I feel use that screen time for something constructive.
Yeah, productive. Agree.
I ordered this ladder from Amazon. So, you jump on it. So I just put that out, like I also live in like an apartment, so I also don't have access to a garden and things, and she just jumps on it, and at least there's some sort of physical activity, I would say. So
yeah, that's true.
Home together as a family, so that the child is also interested.
Absolutely. I think that makes sense. So there's one spectrum which you talked about where kids are eating too much because I think they're snacking out of boredom, pampering families are over pampering. And then they're just, like you said, becoming overweight. And then I feel that this other end of the spectrum, which is something that I'm facing, which is why I'm bringing it up, is that my child is not getting hungry because he's just not physically active. And I struggle to, make sure that he even eats what I term as sufficient. Now, it's probably sufficient for him. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's enough. So how do I deal with that?
I think it's like we all as human know hunger. We understand hunger. It comes very naturally to us. So I think you could offer, instead of bigger meals, like maybe aim for smaller meals. Like, okay, if he's not hungry for a big meal and it's hot, honestly, sometimes even I don't feel like eating a full-fledged meal. But okay, if I have like a shake or a fruit or something more cooling, or like a buttermilk. So you could plan like smaller meals for kids like that.
But
more frequently. I mean, again, they are the ones to decide. But if you feel they're not really showing interest in proper meals, then let's not push them. Maybe they will come back to it after a few days.
Right. Yeah, maybe it
also doesn't help. And they'll be like, that this mother of mine is always just talking about food. So planning for smaller, frequent meals should help. Cooling foods.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I can work on that. So, and my next question is going to be, about milk. I think everyone wants to know, how much milk my child should have. Is it okay if they're not having it? Is it so important that I can mix in something in it to give it to them, or does it have to be plain milk? How important it is, and if my child isn't having milk, what nutrients is he missing out on? I think I've asked you like 3-4 questions here, so let me start again. So the first question is, how much milk should my child have?
Glasses also, and it's not just you have to drink the milk. It could be in the form of paneer, it could be in the form of curd, right?
Right.
Not least so much emphasis on milk, because what happens when the child is eating too much milk, drinking too much milk, you will that they eat less solids, because milk in itself is a meal.
Right.
So, I mean, it's okay. Again, like I said, the child knows. And if they don't consume milk, you can give it in other forms, like I said. And also calcium is present in a lot of foods. So this is something I've also been asked in the past. So I've spoken about it a lot of times on my page. So I have like a full reel on non-dairy sources of calcium.
Right.
Also are lactose intolerant. They cannot even have paneer and ghee and things.
Right.
Just like focusing on a balanced meal, you'll get all the nutrients. And also one thing we should always remember, that for calcium to absorb in our body, we need vitamin D, which as Indians, we are deficient. So we must get those level checked. If we are deficient, that's one supplement I tell everyone to take.
Right.
Because vitamin D is just not only important for our bones, but there are many other functions in our body.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think that's something that I don't know. I mean, at least I'm in Calcutta, so our pediatricians recommend that from birth onwards. And
Same.
yeah. So no, but that's a really good point that you make. So since you mentioned supplements, my next question is, just to make sure that my child is really getting all the nutrients he needs, given that he's a fussy eater. I'm just generalizing here. Should we give our child a multivitamin supplement or a specific supplement? What is your take on that?
I would say, first of all, don't call your child fussy eater. They get their vibe. So first is that. But okay, when it comes to supplements, I would say it's best to discuss with the doctor, because the doctor knows the history of the child, knows like everything about the child. So I think for supplements, it's best. The doctors will tell you. The doctors will tell you things like, oh, if the child is active, if the child is growing well, you don't need all this. So I feel this supplements is something you should discuss with your doctor, because
Okay,
it's like how it is for an adult.
right. But you don't recommend like just a general multivitamin key, just as an insurance key, just to make sure that he's getting everything.
I only recommend the vitamin D.
That's the only one you recommend. Okay. And with everything going on, I think everyone's so concerned about immunity. So what do you recommend, for generally for adults and as well as children? Is there specific, some recipes or some foods that you recommend that we should definitely be taking, or just a balanced diet? What is your take on that?
Like we all talk, when it comes to immunity, we all talk about food, but we should also know that immunity is formed by other factors also. So the other factors which we don't really pay attention to is exercise, because we have blood circulation that affects our immunity.
Okay.
Then obviously food is there. Of course, we are, our blood, it's like all the nutrients go in our blood and that's circulated in our body anyway. So
Yeah.
that food, of course, it forms our immune system. Third is sleep. That's when we sleep, that's where all the repair work happens in our body.
Right.
Whatever
Right.
balance, it happens during our sleep. And adults, I mean, child, we don't have to tell a child really, unless they're teenagers, to sleep. They know when they're sleepy, they're tired. But adults, I feel we push ourselves because to watch that Netflix show or to work at night. But I feel that sleep is so important. Like personally, if I'm not slept well, my next day I'm groggy. I don't think I'm giving my 100% to what I'm doing. And I think sleep is something we have to take. This is also, it plays a role in our immunity. And fourth is stress. So again, kids don't really have stress, but we should not, because of COVID. I feel like, how kids are also now, older kids get this, right? Like they understand what's happening. So I think we should just have that environment at home that relaxes them. Like as parents, if we keep talking about COVID and things like that, I think we've gone off topic. But I'll just because now that you speaking about immunity, so it's just how we can have like an atmosphere at home where, okay, if there's an issue, maybe the adults can talk later about it, but not in front of the kids. Like, why give them vibe? We should just try to do our best of.
No, yeah, that's great advice. I agree with you. That's actually great advice. So we have a question here, from one of our viewers. I'm just gonna take that in the middle, if that's okay. She's asking if we should use organic food. Is organic better than than otherwise? So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I am all for organic, but of course, organic food cost is more. So you have to in your families, whatever. It also depends on the number of people. But if you ask me, what are the foods we should eat organic? I would say go for things we eat on a regular basis, like oil, salt, things like that. That staples.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can't do fruits and vegetables and dals and everything. So
right.
But I mean, whatever you can do, but then if you want to, then shift for things like, for example, milk. That's also a big issue right now because of the hormones. We know like the hormones are being injected and things like that. So if you are interested in going organic, then maybe, make a list of like 3-4 things that you consume on a regular basis and start with that.
Okay. So we should start wherever we can, fitting into our culture and our budget, and taking all factors into consideration. You would recommend that we should start. Okay, that's interesting.
You're supporting small businesses, small brands, homegrown brands.
Right.
And
yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. So my next question to you is about, brain development. So I think now we have so much time with our kids, I think we just sort of, like focus on every little thing and, kind of we've kind of become these helicopter parents. So I think another question that we, are often asked is that now what do I give my child to make sure that his brain develops and, we make sure that he has all the nutrients that the body needs for brain development. So how do we do that?
Yeah, so like you said, we have all the time. So I also feel that this is actually the time. Like I feel if it was the first lockdown we had, it was the time to actually work on things we are struggling with at home, with our health, in respect to our health. Because I think that there's no excuse. If you're healthy at home, actually it is a good time to make changes or whatever you need to. So when it comes to, there was another question. Okay, this is okay. So I would say when we talk about brain food, I would say first would be omega-3, like the omega-3 which is found in walnuts, like the walnut is also in the shape of a brain.
Yeah.
Walnut can be eaten by an adult, by a kid also, by a child also.
Yes.
It can be easily added in someone's roti.
Right.
Like
right.
Things like eggs are great for the brain.
Right.
But it's not like just these foods. If you eat a balanced diet, it's amazing for the brain. And also at the same time, for a child, I also feel, it's the playtime, it's the sleep, it's there should be no stress around the child. All of these factors affect their brain development.
I think that's a very good point. I think we're so focused on food. You mentioned this earlier as well. We're so focused on food that we forget all these other factors which are actually just as important. So I think we should really take note of that. So another question. I think we discussed this. We discussed the immunity already, and I think I'd really like to ask that what are the primary tips you would give a new parent? Like as to the main blunders to avoid when it comes to feeding children.
So I would say local, like whatever's your local food, start with that, or start with fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Stay as long as you can from packet food, because a child of 8 months, 9 months doesn't even know what all that is. It's like we introduce it to them, so they don't get up and say I want to eat sugar.
Right.
Because that's the issue nowadays, that we have introduced it at a very young age and the frequency is much more. Because
Right.
also as families now, our generation, we are traveling more, we go to restaurants more, right? So I think that whole exposure has been done at a very young age.
Right.
And then the addictive, kids find regular home food boring.
Right.
If we just I think just try to keep away, and as a family also make that thing that okay, we're going to get these foods sometimes, and fix a day, maybe once a week, and not always have it, because at the end of the day, parents are the role models. So if tomorrow I'm like, oh, I don't like this food, and expect my child to eat it, she'll never be interested. She has to enjoy it. If she's going to see I'm opening a packet of noodles or Maggie, and I'm like giving her khichdi or something like that to eat, she'd be like, what,
Yeah.
Like these small things go a long way.
I think you're talking about modeling, really. Like what we eat is what they learn, actually. So I think that's,
there is no going to birthday parties, there's nothing. So I feel there's no excuse.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's but then I think there's another thing I'd like, how do we deal with as parents? Like you said, they're not really getting exposed outside, but then we live in joint families, some of us, and then they're exposed from people in the family, and it's very difficult for us to say, for example, no to grandparents. I think it's always a tough spot to be in. So how do we deal with that? Like I know there are a lot of parents that don't want certain things to be eaten, but then family members are eating it, so my child is seeing it, my child wants to eat it, even though I'm not eating it, he still wants to eat it. So how do I deal with that?
Conversation, I think. I feel that's the best. You have to, that's important, because I know, and then our parents have that thought, right, that oh, you also ate this, and things like that. I feel like I said, the frequency is much more, and nowadays it's everywhere. You walk out of your house, all the grocery stores are selling it. So I feel it's like conversation, like talking about it, showing them articles. It is true, we are the diabetic capital, and it's because of such a fast consumption. Like we are consuming this packet food it's like a part of our meal. Evening snack, you don't understand, open a packet.
It's really like that, and it takes so much effort to think of something to make. So it's just so much easier to open a packet. But then, like you said, if you plan, it's effortless, and we should
Yeah, I agree. Like that's why I feel you should always have like like a few things. Like I've done a lot of videos on the same because snack time is something all parents ask about. So if you just make small boxes and keep at home, 8, 9 boxes, and then even if you're busy, I know you can't start cooking. You can't cook even snacks. So if you just like today, I knew I had this, and I knew like if my daughter, I kept like some pistachios for her outside.
Right.
So how you make small boxes which the
Yeah.
out to, and it's so like I said, like fruits. If you have fruits, it can actually help you and make one snack is sorted in the day.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think this boxes idea is really great. Just put it in boxes, keep it ready. So if it's not you or if it's your help or a family member that's helping you out, it's easier for them because then, otherwise they're struggling. And then, like you said, easier solution is the packet. So,
Lots of snacks like this, which I don't even touch. I'm not such a snacker, but I know I need it for my child.
yeah.
She's like
So
3, so
can
she
you
needs. Like,
snacks maybe for kids that are easy, don't require much effort in terms of cooking and are still better than packets?
I have actually done a lot of posts on my page on that, but I would just say,
Okay.
okay, I've as there. You can make homemade popcorn, not the ready-made one. Like homemade popcorn is an option. Where you
Right.
pop the kernels at home, not get the
Yeah.
ready-made. Of course, dry fruits are great. Kids usually like cashews and things like that. So even if they eat 3, 4 of those is good enough with their evening like milk and things like. There's certain brands like homegrown brands I really support, and their ingredients are really clean. So you have their cookies, for example, because everyone wants to eat a cookie. But I feel if you're eating a cookie, why not or like get it from a home baker? Support
Absolutely.
small
Absolutely.
brands. Support
Yeah.
another mom who's doing a great job at home.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Great. So thank you so much. I think that was so insightful and so helpful. We just take this last question from Sejal?
One question I saw someone had asked, can we eat rice at night also?
Okay, so we'll take any one question that you want to answer, and
Or
then
rice at night? Yes, you can.
we
If
can.
you can, but you cannot, like we spoke about the quantity, that how we need to eat it with the right amount of vegetables and or dal or whatever curry with it,
Right.
not just
Right. Great. So thank you so much, Malvika. That was so insightful and so helpful.
Thank you
Um,
for having me here.
No, it was absolutely our pleasure. So I hope everyone here found it very helpful and useful, just the way I did. Please do give Malvika and us at Mommy Wise a follow and stay tuned for more insightful information from her and from us. So
Thank you. Evening, everyone. Thank you for joining.
bye.
Bye.